Good morning. This morning we had some big things happen. If you were part of the Patreon, you probably knew early this morning what I was paying attention to when I woke up this morning. I was paying attention to that yield uninversion, and we took a picture of that, sent it out on Patreon before that uninverted. Just said watch out because today could get interesting with some uninversion taking place. Here we can see just on the right side of my screen we have 3.715 and 3.727. So that would mean that those have uninverted, right? That's all we need to pay attention to. Now we have to actually follow the signals, but this tells us that we really need to pay attention to any kind of major reversal signals that we're seeing for the next 18 months. Now that can begin as soon as right now, right? If we switch into a daily scale, we go over to the Qs, we could say this is a bad signal, right? But we're getting kind of an inverted hammer at this moment. So let's see if Thor's hammer can actually reverse us around. It's not the strongest reversal signal, but it is something we can pay attention to. As of right now, we do have the updated daily expected moves. Those were put out on Patreon last night. Sorry, I had some personal problems going on yesterday. Some crazy stuff happening yesterday, honestly. So I'm sorry I wasn't able to come out and make a YouTube video, but sometimes life happens. For the Qs, we do have 466.79 to the upside for that daily expected move, and then we do have a 454.43 to the downside, very close to that monthly expected move. We'll see if something forms here. If any kind of reversal pattern forms here, that would be nice for us to see as a trader. Going over to the SPY, we do just notice that the ranges are pretty good size, I would say. We do have 555.87 to the upside there, and we have 546.03 to the downside. So it's looking like with that uninversion in September, we could see some more turmoil. Does that mean we can't get bounces? No, we can get bounces. We just have to pay attention to our signals, see if there's going to be some kind of bounce, maybe up to a daily expected move. Just remember that when you break through that weekly and you kind of come down pretty good and you're trying to make a reversal signal, you can still use that as some resistance to actually head lower, right? We don't see the best 30-minute signal here. If anything, all we have is a 15-minute signal, and I don't trust 15-minute signals. I don't use 15-minute signals very often to actually be the ultimate reason that I take a trade, but you do see the momentum shifting here a little bit, okay? We do see that momentum, and one thing I was also looking at was Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin dropping down to lower levels, everyone probably freaking out and things like that, right? But as we pull out into a 4-hour, we can notice that a bunch of divergence is here for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin actually sees some positivity, we can see a big reaction up. Just because those yields have uninverted doesn't mean we have to crash down right away. It means you can, but we don't have to, right? We can see another upward move, some kind of trap, something like that, or we could just see upside for 6 to 18 months before that actually comes to fruition, and we see that in the price action, all right? So looking forward, there's a lot to pay attention to. Again, it's been a fun market so far, and we can see if any reversals happen early on today. That 15-minute signal, is it going to matter? Is it going to cause this 30-minute to bounce up? Well, you would have some argument for that, as this purple line here, yes, it can be used as resistance, but it also is the bottom side of our 68% zone. So where are we most likely to land? Remember, most likely, it's not 100%, most likely though, 68% chance to do that by Friday close, right? So we'll pay attention to what's happening today. Looks like we have some interesting things going on. Something with Nvidia here, one cool thing here was the SPY has the signal, and what if this creates the rejection divergence here? On the 15-minute, you do have that really close to the center line. Now, once again, I don't take too many trades based on a 15-minute chart. I'm going to be paying attention to the 30-minute, making sure it shows up there, seeing some kind of actual rejection and really getting above this high. That can mean I could see a sustained bounce. Maybe we can build up over time and end up heading higher. Okay, so it doesn't mean we have to crash down right away. Just a quick note as well, the monthly expected move for Nvidia is just below where this price action got to. So you're already seeing a move on the monthly scale down to an area where that's all that was priced in for the entire month of September. Now, does that mean that we have to go up? No, it means we have a 68% chance to land in that zone. If you need those zones up on your charts for those monthly expected moves, please join the Patreon that's down in the description. It costs a cup of coffee every single month, and the information is worth probably hundreds of dollars. So as we go into this, we'll see if that can prove to be some kind of maybe even a double bottom at that point, see if that can make some upside move as we are by that monthly expected move. But just note that that's a 68% chance. And if you start to see something crazy like a crash, well, you have to pay attention to that. So we really want to pay attention if this 30 minutes rolling over and not making a divergence, right? Just going. That's what we need to pay attention to. Tomorrow's data, I believe, will be the most important. Tomorrow we do get unemployment and non-farm payrolls. Yeah, and this is something that I could definitely see people talking about with the gap, right? So you could do something like this. You bounce up to this zone, grab those sellers again, and then end up going down. And I think you're right to point that out. Thank you for showing. Sometimes it even takes me just reading cup and handle to just look and be like, okay, yeah, okay, I see it. But for the most part, you would say we're reacting down into this area, right? We'll see if that is able to build up to that center line and then cross back down, right? We still want to see that proven in our signals. I just got the ring. 93 coming. Technically, if that cup and handle plays out, you might head lower than 93. If that's a big cup and handle. $82 maybe. I don't like measured moves most of the time. I just look for the signals, but for the most part, 82 looks like where, if that fully played out, that would get to. AMD kind of suffering as well, seeing if that 30-minute can cross down. We're looking for some little 30-minute divergences just for a bounce. I'm not saying this thing has to fully recover, because as we look into things like Nvidia, we go into a 2-hour chart. You're seeing that's really, really deep in negative territory at this point. What did you have to do the last time we came this deep? Well, we had to make a bunch of divergences. So you have the opportunity to bounce and then see that maybe fail, and then you'd hope to make some divergences here. But for the most part, you would say this is going to be a lot of work to go back to positive. It happens, right? But not at that level. We haven't seen it in a little while. Right? If we go all the way back, have we ever been this low? Not necessarily. So we're really starting to spread out, kind of confirming this as our lower high, obviously, with the daily rolling over. And now we have to see if any kind of divergences pop up. But just note, that doesn't have to make the divergence, right? This just means something bad's happening. If a divergence is there, I'm ready to react. Looks like 129. Oof, yeah, and see, I would say, like, if you were going with the cup and handle argument here, where would you really want to make that cup? I mean, a lot of people would say right here, but we got excited past it. So a lot of people would say something like this, right, would be interesting. But I think we got past it. So if you're going to do a whole cup and handle here, that could be interesting. And then that would most likely shove you down to something like, yeah, like 110 or something like that. As far as it goes, though, 129. Where is 129 at? Oh, it's definitely possible, and I think that's where you'd be kind of confirming that as a cup, right? I think that's more where you'd be like, okay, that is my cup down at that level. So I think that's the important level, though. I think you're paying attention to the right thing. Okay, good. Well, we're seeing it kind of similar. Because if you're not going to make the cup here and then get that little bounce with the gap, then I think you do head lower into this to create that cup and handle. And that would actually make sense with your 30-minute signals, right? If we're going to see a bounce from here, maybe an extended bounce from that 129 level, right? We can go like this. We can curl over on this MACD for a moment. We can maybe touch 129 and turn back up. Touch, turn back up. That would be interesting. Now, maybe you don't make it all the way down to 129, right? We could go to 132.50 or something. But I think this would be an interesting look. See that extended bounce that gets that 2-hour going, and then we just see that roll over again. Let's see what the SPY's doing. Wonder if that little 15-minute means anything. What's up, Bernie? Good morning, good morning. You decide. Yeah, this is Tesla. I'm really wondering what the hell is going on. Like, this makes me think, well, this has the opportunity to make cup and handle this way, right? So, I mean, if anything, you would say this is resistance, right? Coiling up before that would be a good thing. That's more how I would put it with this. I mean, you could even say from this level, right? The cup and handle could be forming anywhere in here, but for the most part, I would just say, look at the bigger time frames. The daily's crossing up. And the weird thing is, Tesla, for a long time, had a short seller problem. I don't know if it still does, but that would be interesting because if stocks suffer, that's the collateral for things like AMC and GME, and those things actually can pop off. So I'd be paying attention if we start to see a drop, if things like AMC and GME start to pop. Let's look at that 30-minute signal. Weird thing about this 30-minute signal was we curled down again and we curled up again, right? So you actually have a triple divergence here for something like AMC. I still see 234 for Tesla would be the most bullish I could see before we experience some kind of consolidation or pullback. If it's going to remain bullish, that is. Well, and the easy way to break it down if we're confused is just be like, you know, what did momentum tell me with the 2 hour, right? The 30 minutes said down for now. It didn't happen. It popped right back up. That's a shorter time frame, so you're going to see crazier stuff. But the 2 hour, what happened? Well, we crossed up, we went positive, and we never confirmed back down. So all of this positivity, when you look at a 2 hour chart, makes total sense, right? You're not even crossing below moving averages or something like that as if you were taking profit for a swing trade, right? We're just seeing that continue to rise, and that's perfectly fine. Eventually, you will see that pulling back. So watch out this morning as you even made some slight divergence here on the RSI to tell you, hey, we're weakening here, and then pops right back up. Not that I know of, besides the fact that a lot of semiconductors ran for pretty much years. And then they are, overall, semiconductors are in a bubble, right? They're in a bubble. They've been pushed up higher, most likely because they're the collateral, weirdly enough, for AMC, GME, and a bunch of other short-sold stocks that I can't even list. There's probably a ton of them that we don't even know about. There's probably some like DJT that people don't even think about. But at the same time, we just want to be like, okay, is that actually happening? It seems that it is happening. If it's the collateral, then we should, if it is true that these semiconductors are the collateral, or stocks in the stock market are the collateral for the AMC GME problem, then you would say, okay, well then their collateral is at risk, aka AMC and GME, if Nvidia keeps falling down, should eventually see a big upside move. That's how I would read into it. Is it going to prove to play out that way? We'll see, right? We'll always see it in the signals before it happens. So as long as we're paying attention at the right time, we should catch things happening. Dipping away from it. One thing I noticed was that even though the market is overall a few stocks heading lower, the dollar has really dropped off here. So the dollar dropping off tells me some people could be buying still in this area. As we look over at the SPY and that thing is just barely negative, that could mean there is some buying going on underneath the, or behind the curtain. You're welcome, Game Rating Master. Thank you for the questions, and thank you for, mentioning a inverted cup and handle. I think on inversion is interesting. Made sure to tell my brother because he, works as an MLO. He says that most of his clients are very, very price sensitive now. Like everyone he works with is price sensitive. Please press that like button for Luke. Thanks for saying that this morning, Lizard. I am looking forward to watching the opening with you guys here in about 3 freaking minutes. I apologize, I had to hop off stream very abruptly. We had a very, I would say, dangerous scenario taking place yesterday in the morning, so I had to get off my ass and go make sure things were okay. Things ended up being okay, but it was a pretty freaky moment for my mother-in-law, so yeah, it's just got to stay on top of that kind of stuff. I know people think, oh, sometimes those people who think something bad's going to happen and they like to carry a handgun are crazy. It's like, well, you're going to think we're crazy until something bad happens. So, yeah, it was a sketchy scenario. I'm sorry that we had to hop off the live stream, but everyone's okay. Now we're just going to take some precautions because a gentleman knows where she lives and things like that now, which is not cool. All right, look at that AMD. I have 40% of my portfolio in cash. AMD sucks. Yeah, AMD has been shitting the bed a lot. And the big thing here for AMD takes like 5 signals to actually get this to play out. And I don't like those kinds of stocks, so I'm just going to pay attention to something else. Something interesting would be still Apple. Apple experiencing a bounce here. We'll see if it hits its head on that 225.84, and then we can see if that breaks down, right? This is the breakdown area, so somewhere in this little box right here would make sense to react to, and then we'll see. Yeah, mine buffered for a second there. I'm starting to think the same thing, Game Rating Master. Sorry, free indeed. Yeah, it just sometimes at open we see a little glitching happening as things start to process. All right, so for today, though, I think a big signal is actually going to be the SPY. I think the SPY is a big signal. Let's go check on volatility right before the market opens here, just showing how that 30-minute has gone down to the center line. So if we want to see a pop in volatility today, it can be there. Now, the other side of that story is the 2-hour has crossed. So that is a bigger amount of momentum, I would say. And so that more leads me to believe this 2 hour is going to fall down. But I'm aware that if the 30-minute crosses up, more volatility, aka downside pressure, can happen for the SPY. As of this morning, 15-minute divergence confirmed. We'll see if this can turn up hourly chart. God dang it. I swear, every morning in the first 10 minutes of the stream, I have the hiccups. Hey, that's pretty sick. I always wanted to get into archery. I thought that would be so cool. What about coin? I think coin, you need to watch that Bitcoin 4-hour divergence. But as we go over and look at coin, we can see that this has been beat up for a long time. Oh, we're on an hourly chart. But as we look at a 2-hour chart, you see that spread out. So what I want to see when it's this spread out, right? We talked about this yesterday, how if it's really, really spread out, you need to see it on a better time frame. It's very spread out here, I would say. I mean, you pretty much have August 2nd all the way to September. So that's a 30-day gap for a 2-hour divergence. That's not what you want to see. Usually your 2-hour divergence needs to be within the same, I would say, 1 to 2 weeks. And then at the same time, we can go into a bigger time frame though and use that as a good mentality for us. So if the 4 hour is able to turn up, doesn't that look a little bit better, right? So as that time frame kicks up, it starts to look a little nicer. We can look at a 4-hour, see that, and then we can go, oh, even this is extended. Maybe we see something on the daily scale. If you see something on the daily scale, you want to see if that's proven there. And so we had divergence at the same time on the 4-hour. You're pretty much holding that, ooh, coming below it now. So is this going to prove to be divergence that pops you up to the upside? It's debatable. It's debatable. It's debatable because this here is not very deep. It's not the most elongated. We'll see if that crossing down right now, we should expect downside. But then as you go look at something like Bitcoin, right? As we go look at Bitcoin, you're going to pull this up and see, okay, what is going on in my 4-hour? Okay, I'm getting a bunch of divergences. So if Bitcoin is able to turn back up here, that would tell me coin has a shot to actually go higher. As long as Bitcoin gets this reversal signal and goes positive, then coin can follow that. And then we could do that cup and handling, right? This would be a great look because you break out of a zone, you come back in it. If you react up to this level, you get that cup, go in, make that handle in that zone, and then start breaking to the upside. I guess there's something around like you being guilty or something. Alrighty, let's go look over at something like Nvidia. I think Nvidia would be interesting to watch today. We see that 30-minute trying to curl back up, mainly looking at the 15-minute divergence here, seeing if that can pop up into positive territory in any way. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Well, will IWM get stomped again? The world may never know. Don't act like you ain't got me pull that bottle off the shelf. You do there every weekend. This thing is annoying me. Alrighty, we've positioned a little bit there. Alright, let's see what happens with... Ooh, okay, Nvidia actually crossed. It looks like it's about to cross. We'll see if that can actually confirm the divergence, get above this level, start to go into a positive trend, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, what we're looking from Nvidia forward is going to be something like this taking place. That would be the look, in my opinion. SMCI bleeding this morning. Let's see what's going on with that. As we look across, I think this one had some daily signals trying to form here, right? You still have it. It just might take a lot of time to play out. So you really want to look for these 2-hour crossovers. If that 2 hours crossing over, bad things, right? That daily's not going to cross back up. But if that 2 hour can go positive, that's where you're feeling a little bit better. I would even go into a 4 hour and say, if that 4 hour goes positive, look at this, right? Look at it. Just look at it. You're noticing that upward move here on the RSI, slight upward move, and downside price action, and upward move on both momentum indicators at the same time. So if this 4 hour can catch some ground here, SMCI actually could see a pretty big reaction. I would say all the way up to towards something like 700, weirdly enough. I actually think that's definitely possible. Now, what would be the problem with running into that 700 level? Well, you've kind of had a little bit of a death cross here where the 50 is crossing the 200. So that can be some major resistance right there. And you might just see, oh, everyone, yes, oh, and it just falls back down. So we'll find out going forward if we're even going to get that reversal, but I'd be looking out for that. Mara is something that most likely will be following Bitcoin. This does have a daily divergence as well, so let's pay attention to that, because we do notice that on the 4 hour, if we look at that, where is it? Really close to the center line. So if that 4 hour crosses up, Mara can see positivity. That makes sense as we're seeing some slight reversal signals from Bitcoin. We just really want Bitcoin to actually play out those signals. Right? We need this to actually turn back up on a 4 hour, and then you're pretty positive with it. QQQ saying, hey, we're seeing some reversal from QQQ. The big thing, though, is still the SPY, in my opinion, the 15-minute on the SPY, just seeing if that can rotate up and fully go positive today. I think that's going to be a big deal. It has rotated up. Can it go positive? Can we start to confirm things up a little bit? Contract for MU. MU, which way is that contract betting? Because right now you're seeing a massive 15-minute divergence. We'll see if that's proven on any other time frame here. 30-minute. If that 30-minute rolls over, more work to be done. And we've been talking a lot about where you would cup and handle. Well, this would be a level where you would want to cup and handle. So there can be a nice reaction here, but watch out if that thing fails. So if this 30-minute can climb, that'd be a good thing. If the 2 hour can cross up, that would be a good thing, right? Because you have some little 2 hour signal. Oh, maybe that pops up. A little flatness here for the RSI. So that would mean, hey, a pullback can come, but is that going to fail? Is that going to rotate up and just curl back down and be over? That's what we'll look into for this one. If the daily starts turning up, you got to, obviously think about that, because that's going to be a bigger momentum play. If the daily rotates up, you can see more positivity. So pretty much 30-minute down, bad. 2 hour up, good. That's how I see it this morning. So put it there. Yeah, I would just watch for if that 2 hour really starts to rotate up. Dirty Rod Biscuit. Sorry, I had to give you guys a vibe this morning. Biscuit. Need a biscuit. Can I tell them? Yeah, I'll tell them to stop. Just know this for me was an accumulation zone for the most part. Still confident in it, but at the same time, this keeps breaking down. You want to make sure you're being like, okay, eventually this thing, you either have to be like, okay, this is a bad investment over time, or this is going to rotate back up. Would this overall be a good time? Well, has that daily confirmed up? When you see dramatic downside, you don't want to rely on the shorter time frames to tell you what's going on. You want that daily to cross back up. That's why I haven't taken another play on DJT. If I see that daily cross back up, then I can have a reason for it. So if that daily can rotate back up, this is still an accumulation zone for me. I'm willing to invest at these levels, but with the environment of the market right now, the uninversion, I'm not going to invest in much, right? So what I'm going to do is look for signals on daily scales to turn up. The Dow dropping off, well, that daily is crossing over as of right now. Like I said, the Nvidia or the uninversion could mean bad things right away. But the Dow has been leading a lot of that time too, which is interesting. So we'll see, right? As of right now, you could probably look on this and see a 15-minute signal that's crossing back down, right? 15-minute signal. What is it doing? Trying to cross back down. So is this thing dead by any means? I wouldn't say so, but it is crossing over on that daily MACD. So if this continues today and we don't see that bought back up, you have the Dow crossing over on a MACD on the daily scale. It's not a bad thing. Wait, that is a bad thing. Why did I say that's not a bad thing? That is a bad thing, and that can lead to more downside pressure. So you really want this to build up today if you don't want some kind of crash, pretty much, or not crash, but at least I would say bigger overall pullback for now, right? We can't really even talk about crash until we see those monthly signals really confirming, okay? So as we go look at those monthly signals, usually we like to look at these things on Saturdays, if you're aware, but this is going to be your signal like, hey, we're in something really, really bad now. Right? If we do something like this, we react down to that level that I have marked off right here, that 357. You do something like this, you start to turn up, and then you cross back down. I think that's how it would be the worst. But you notice that can take a lot of time. But that monthly crosses over, that's when I'll be saying, okay, now we should say there's a very high probability that we are about to see extremely lower prices. Financials are dropping. My thoughts on the VIX are the 30-minute is so close to crossing up, but the 2-hour just crossed down. So the 30-minute here, you're just going to zoom in on this. Look at that. It looks like, hey, if that crosses up, more volatility. But the only problem with that is a bigger time frame is saying that the volatility is going to pull back, which tells me I need to watch if the SPY starts to cross up on this 2-hour. So that 2-hour bounce could be happening soon, according to volatility. But we'll see what happens. That's kind of how we have to go about it. We have to see what happens. We don't have the best reversal signals just yet. We have maybe a 15-minute divergence on the SPY. That's it. So let's pay attention to our daily expected moves. That ADP number was terrible. Honestly, the numbers were, I would say, pretty bad overall, except I would say initial jobless claims coming in at 227. You did probably want that to come down, but I think it's funny that it's the exact as the forecast. I think that that's fudged. I think that's going to be revised. Genuine, just being genuine about it. I think that's going to be revised, but that's going to take a month or so to actually revise. It's just how I'm seeing it right now. Like, oh yeah, the data. Oh, we are exactly right on the data. That never happens. It just never happens, right? So most likely this here is going to be revised very soon. Good morning, Nyson. How you doing? So if IWM negative price action, let's go look at IWM. A couple people mentioning that. IWM has the signal too. So not only the SPY, but also IWM did have the 15-minute divergence. Where is that? Okay, so this is the learning moment, okay? This is where if you're thinking, what am I going to learn in the course? This is it, right? This is the opportunity, okay? It's stuff like this. When you see this, not terribly far outside of that weekly range, but kind of close to it, right before a Friday, you see a little divergence down here. We see that crossing up. That means that we can see positivity. We can see a reversal, maybe the hourly turning back up. Okay, it doesn't mean this has to explode through the roof. It just means that 15-minute can reverse that trend around for a little bit of time, and then maybe we see this hourly go up and then cross back down. This is an opportunity to say, hey, there's a high probability for some kind of move to the upside by Friday close. That's what this says. Now, if I take that play, I have to be paying close attention to my 15-minute, because if the 15-minute rejects from this area and then curls back down, that's going to tell me not the moment, get the hell out, right? So this is what we try to teach you how to do in the course. Now, we use it on bigger time frames. I don't like 15-minute signals, but it's all we have right now. Okay, so we're going to talk about it because you can reverse from it. It's not the strongest. If you're going to get a stronger base, what would end up happening here is maybe you react up like this, right, for maybe Friday. You see that curl down, and then on Monday you do this, and then you go like that. That would be more the signal I like to pay attention to, but since out of all the things going on right now, all we really get is a little 15-minute on IWM, we get a 15-minute on the SPY, we get a little 15-minute on things like Nvidia, then I'm going to pay attention to it, because if these hourlies rotate up because of that, which you see it's already happening for Nvidia, that can mean a prolonged bounce is coming. Yeah. So if you look on the 15-minute, now this is a very short time frame. I know you're focusing FOMO on some dailies, but it's good to practice because these are harder. They're quicker, right? So you can watch and how these play out. But for the most part, look at this. I want you to take the close of the bar. The close of a green bar is the top of it, right? That top of the square, all right? Then we see that come down. All right, so, well, we'll go with these levels, right? We'll go with that. That is where we're going to go for, right here. We see that downward action. Now we see this up. Now we see this up, all right? We see both of the indicators pointing up while the price action is pointing down. That is divergence confirmed there. And the reason I'm saying it's confirmed is because of this green bar right now. Now, does this mean it's confirmed ultimately and always? No, this 15-minute bar has not completed yet. So what I would like to see is strengthen that bar with maybe a few minutes left in the bar and say, okay, now that is confirming, and then see that upside play. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Diana. Like, I don't like to pay attention to 15-minute divergence a lot, because a lot of the time you can make quadruple divergence on a 15-minute. I'd like to see it on a 30. I would like to see it on a 2-hour, but it doesn't matter what I like. It matters what I see right now, and it looks like we need to bounce. Maybe an inversion is going to get into the media, and we're going to see some kind of bounce with a little 15-minute divergence. If this is not going to play out, let's say we get some kind of bounce here, we cross up, and then that crosses right back down, right? We do this, and then it just goes boop, down like that. That means not the moment. Does it mean that we can't reverse from here? No, it means we might need to reach down a little deeper, create another point, right? We might need to do something like this. Who knows? But for the most part, that's all we got on the table for today. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. It's a lot of 15-minute divergences on 15-minute charts, seeing if hourlies can roll up. Do I see it on Apple? Let's go look for Apple real quick. Apple not necessarily showing it. No, Apple not necessarily showing it, just reacting. So just able to curl up on an hourly at this point without any divergence. Now, right away, where are you testing? Well, you're testing in these lows, 1 point of resistance. So this is the first point of resistance. Where can we see a 15-minute, if not anything like some kind of pullback? It would be here. You'd kind of want to consolidate and then bust higher, try to hit that 225.84 level, in my opinion. Well, you would say, like a lot of people would say, hey, this is great support when you were falling, right? So now it's going to turn into some great resistance. Yeah, FOMO, it sounds like you're starting to ask questions more along your thinking, which I like, because that means you're already thinking of the right thing. You're just looking for some second opinion or clarification. And I love when people have that attitude, because it means you've learned a little bit, or you've learned enough to really see the signals, and I'm proud of you for that. And then you're just like, am I seeing it correctly? There you go. Nvidia up almost 2% as of right now. Learned. I kept saying learned. I know, Tesla really rocketing up from here, heading up towards, well, where did we say it needs to get to? 234 would be a solid level for Tesla. And then if you get past 234 and you just keep going, you can really explode. But I think 234 is where you need to kind of consolidate. If you start to get excited past that, watch out. Oil stocks falling, and AMC and GME are starting to turn up as well. So this is where I said you have to take into consideration stocks like Tesla. They used to have a short seller problem. People hate Elon Musk. People still dislike Elon Musk. So I just don't know for a fact if the short seller problem is here. I know it's in AMC and GME, but if there is, then Tesla technically could see some kind of squeeze if the collateral is damaged. So I would say if things like semiconductors really start to sell off and continue to sell off, just see if those dailies can cross up, right? That daily's already crossed up. So this is more a 2 hour, probably needs to cross back up, yeah, or an hourly. It's the end of the market, but I feel fine. Hey, I feel fine all the time, man. You ain't never seen a gorilla. Wait, I just listened to this. Why is this popping up again? Dippy Vino, hot dad riding in on a rhino. Man, a day to remember is coming to my city. Do I get tickets to that? Why did I can't live without him? Yeah, I don't show my plays. That's not what this channel's about. I always say I take volatility all the time when I'm taking downside plays. I don't like to short the SPY. I don't like to short the Qs. I like to take volatility. So I take calls on volatility all the time. I'm not going to show anyone exactly what I'm doing because that encourages you to do what I'm doing, and you're not going to manage the way that I'm managing. You're not going to have the thought process exactly. It's impossible to have 155 people show them something and then everyone have the same thought process. There's no offense to it in any way. It's just, I don't want to do that. This channel's about teaching you how to read into the indicators. And sometimes I say, yeah, I'm taking this play. What's the play? You know, people are like, hey, maybe you've said, I've never seen you take anything ever. Really? Because I told you about 1,000,000 times that I was taking this for this play. I told you 1,000,000 times I sold right here, right? That's all I'm getting at. But I understand. People like to see what exactly people are taking. That's just not something that I do. I don't want to encourage people to take plays that I'm taking and then not know what I'm doing the next day with that play. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know exactly what I'm doing in a trade even the next day, and I happen to not mention it, then you could really get screwed. And I'm not trying to screw people over. I'm saying follow your signals. I'm teaching you to look at stocks the way I do. So when the things happen where I'm going to react, you're just learning the skill to react yourself. That's it. Also, I feel like it's a really dumb move to show people how much money you have on the internet, and I show my face on here. Yeah, no thank you. Like, my mother-in-law was just followed home and pinned in her driveway, and I'm gonna show people a bunch of money. Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to flaunt. Bitcoin falling now. Okay, so Bitcoin not able to turn back up there. Well, you still would look at this 2 hours, see if that curls up. I still think the 4 hours is the most important. It's not really dropping to where it's violating the signal. That's the thing. Gold really seeing a nice upward move as well. Now, one thing with the dollar is it's experiencing a pullback here, and is that just going to rocket off? We'll see. Yes, my mother-in-law is doing fine. She was a little spooked, so she came over for most of the day. She's been through a lot, so it's a scary situation. She just kind of panicked, didn't know how to react, so I went over exactly what she should do in that situation, because she did pretty much the exact wrong thing to do in that situation. Yes. Yeah, I don't like jinxes, you know, world. I try to be relatively obvious with it. Like, Nvidia is really good. Nvidia is really good. Nvidia is really good, right? You know what I mean? Fire a Glock, I need to. We're gonna start off with little things like getting her a better camera and stuff like that. But yeah, it's more going over like what to do in the situation, because you need to be reacting correctly to a dangerous situation. You know what I mean? Did you take the Glock? Yes, of course I did. I wanted to take my rifle over, but my wife said that'd be overkill. Nvidia looks good for upside. I'm liking the little 15-minute signal. Yeah, just know if you're confused or you want to get a little hint of something I'm taking. If I literally go like this, like this, like this, like this, and I say, this is the best signal I've seen in the whole, out of all the charts I've seen, this is the best signal. I always say I'm taking the best signal. And then at the same time, I told you I sold a little here, sold a little here. So you had to at least assume I was in these plays. Start with concealed carry and 9 mil. Yeah, that's what I got. And then I want to get them out to the shooting range. She needs to shoot. She had a bad history with guns. Her dad was a little cray-cray when she was a little girl, so it kind of spooked her on guns. Just say alcohol and guns is a no-no. Whenever I know I'm having a beer, I do not bring the concealed carry with me. Even though I think Kansas is a under the influence state or something like that. So, like, Kansas is, you can drink, but once the alcohol affects you, you can't have your gun on you or something. Shut the fuck up, little nuts. I talk about whatever I want, dude. Noobs. Man. Hey, man, I said you had small nuts and you reacted very defensively. I think we know what the real problem in your life is. Anyway. I just talked stocks for like 40 minutes straight. Say something offensive again. Do it. Do it. It shows you're mad. And it must be cold there, because if it's warm, then that's just sad. You're you're talking to a guy who got famous for comedy. I wouldn't come at me too hard. XPEX. I don't think I've ever looked at this thing. Nope, nothing. What the heck is XPEX? Am I stupid? Is there a setup on the Dow to the downside? Yes, there actually is. It's a daily time frame, okay? But you do have some slight reversals, so you want to see how today performs. XPEV. Okay, that's what I thought. But this, it's showing like, hey, I could see that bounce at some point, right? But it's a 15-minute signal. I don't really like those. So this here is like, this could see a bounce today, so today is going to be pretty important. For the Dow, though, you want to see, okay, is that daily crossing over by end of day? So if this holds by end of day and it doesn't look like a bar that's, you know, like this touching all the way up here, I would more so say this needs to be a red bar below the 9 and have that. So if you do this, you might see that turn back to green, and we do have little divergences. So I think today's price action is important. We'll see if that daily scale is able to cross. That would be momentum, your indicator telling you, hey, the momentum on the daily scale has shifted down. Can you still experience intraday bounces? Can you still experience these bounces for a couple days? Yes. But as long as that remains down, then that's your momentum indicator saying, hey, eventually this will go to lower prices. VIX is down, curling down on the 2-hour. That is a big deal, right? 2-hour curls down, bad things can happen, all right? 2-hour curls down, crosses that center line, ooh, bad things can happen. Right now, it's very positive, right? It's very up here in a positive trend. So what does that mean for this here? That means if we do pull down like this, we could still just curl right back up and see that next push in volatility. Did you exit gold? As far as gold goes, this morning, I really thought about it. And I was like, you know, I have a very extended out option. So I'm seeing this bounce up. If that 2 hour crosses, I might manage for a moment and just get a better position. As of right now, holding, looking at a shorter time frame, seeing if those can roll over. But if this 2 hour pops up like this, then I'll look to manage trade, maybe get in at this level up here. Some rip around moves for gold again. XPEV. See, isn't it weird? Isn't it weird? No real 2 hour signals. You could even get a big ass cup and handle here. I kind of like that. If the 2 hour is going to pull back, are we seeing signals that this 2 hour is going to pull back? I guess that is the question here, because the daily's definitely rotated up with this. So I would more so be looking at the 30-minute, seeing those little divergence points. All right, we see a bunch across this, but it keeps rotating back up. So if this wants to, it can keep going. But if you start to see this kind of fade, kind of reject, maybe this is a time too to even look at a 15-minute as that's crossed, see how close it is to the center line. If that 15-minute crosses, you would say, okay, I think this 2 hour has a good shot to pull back, and then we'll see if that can consolidate and pull back, right? Pull back with time, or maybe pull back in price, give you some kind of big structure here. I kind of like that look. If we could experience a pullback, that would be nice. Yeah, I hope that was helpful, Scott. I know people have been asking a lot, so. Identical, it might not look identical. Check your settings. I keep the main settings, and then at the same time, you want to make sure I don't use extended trading hours. I use regular trading hours. Usually whenever someone says that, there's like some small thing they have selected that's causing it to look different. Just know, I'm never trying to ignore anyone. I'm not that type of guy. Nope, not trying to ignore you, I promise. I'm never trying to ignore anyone. Well, and the reason people asking about the Qs, the reason I'm overall, it's just saying, even for the Qs, I can pay attention to the SPY. Right, the SPY has the firm divergence here. That confirmed. That's why I wanted to pay attention to it. Pay attention to it crossing. Is that going to cross on the daily? Okay, now I can say all of that is confirmed. So if the Qs cross on the hourly, that would be a good sign. Sorry, I think I said daily, but the hourly, that would be a good sign. We're heading up towards that daily expect to move pretty early. Tesla going absolutely nuts up to maybe 234. Eventually it got there. Wow, we said 234. It took a weird ass path, but it's happening. Hey, that's good. Okay, that has confirmed up. Oh, never fucking tell me. Just remember this too, guys. We do get data in the morning. 100 in chat because this conversation would not be possible. 1,000. Oh, if there were 1,000, it'd be a lot rougher. We'd definitely be doing subscriber only, doing memberships and stuff like that. Do you think I should sell AMC? Yeah, I can't tell you exactly what to do, obviously, but it's 100% up to you. And I'll say it this way: if you can't handle holding a stock, and you know, I'm sure you know, Earl, what the problem is and all that. The only thing that you know if you are holding on to a stock like AMC is if the problem is real, then you will see a massive upsurge at some point. So what does that mean? Well, I just said the phrase at some point. So is time your friend if you take an option? No. Is time your friend if you just hold the stock at a lower level, like say 481 at it's at right now? Technically, yes. If the problem is real, then time is your friend, and as long as it costs you nothing to hold the stock, except for maybe opportunity cost. But that's why I said, me with this, I've just held it with an amount of money that's not going to hurt me. Now, if you want to be safe with it, right? If you want to be like, okay, I want to buy only at the times where it has a chance to actually go, then look for 2 hour cross ups right now. Right? Anytime the 2 hour crosses up, got a chance. As long as it's like within reason, I would say, right? But look at these major moves. Well, 2 hour crosses up, positivity. 2-hour crosses up right here, a little bit of positivity. Could have been the moment. 2-hour crosses up right here, but you're going to go nuts, right? Because you're always trading it back and forth. And then you want to treat it like this. Anytime you want to sell, this crosses down. Oh, negativity. Cross back up. Oh, positivity. Cross down, negativity. It's that simple. Like the times, and that's not even me saying sell at those times. That's just me telling you when to react using your indicator. You know what I mean? So the 2 hours crossing up. So for someone to go, hey, should I sell this stock? And I see a 2-hour that's just crossed up. What is your MACD telling you? You know what I mean? What is your MACD telling you right now? Your MACD is telling you on a 2-hour scale, the momentum on a 2-hour is shifting to the upside. You know what I'm talking about? And we'll look at TMF in a second, but this is really crossing up. So that's the exact opposite time. Here, you should be asking that question. Here, you should be asking about more buying, in my opinion. Here, you ask that question for should I sell, right? But if you don't want to go crazy, just look for the daily to cross up. Everyone wants a perfect price. Everyone wants a perfect price. They want to get it at 450 and then see it go to 1,000. Listen to that statement. If you think that this stock could go to 1,000 or even $20, and let's say tomorrow it did that. It crossed up this MACD and saw a move up to $5. Would you at $5 say, oh, I missed out when you think this should go to 20 bucks? No, you're not missing out at all, right? You're just being diligent and waiting for momentum to tell you when that's going to happen, right? So if this crosses up and goes positive, all is good. You could see something crazy. Hey, Wordy, how you doing? How was the jobs report? I believe, as far as I see it, it seems that the ADP employment change, I believe, was those claims have an argument to be okay for the market. And then we get PMI just now, and PMI came out at 51.5. So that's actually a pretty good sign, I would say. So you can see positivity from that as well. Yeah, so it crosses up on the daily, good things. So, oh yeah, this is what I was getting at. Okay. So if you really want to know when your momentum indicator is telling you to sell your AMC, it was right here, 511. That's when it said to sell. When did it say to buy? It hasn't said to buy yet, ever. Treat it like simple swing trading. You're at the 200. If you see a move like that, okay, there's a chance for a good thing. There's all the probabilities say good things can happen. So did that cross up? Not yet, but when it does, are you going to say here, oh, I'm looking at a 30-minute chart, should I buy it? Just pay attention to the daily. Make your life easier. That's when you have the most chance, right? When a daily turns up is when you have the most chance to see something good. Sorry about that. We had to take a long tangent on that for a moment. All right, what do you guys want to look at? Microsoft, are you interested? Let me go look at Microsoft, see the signals here. As far as it goes for Microsoft, I wouldn't say the best signals in the world. That's kind of elongated. That can't be a 2-hour. It is a 2-hour. So Microsoft has 2-hour divergence. So Microsoft is actually very interesting look, Max. I like it, actually. 2-hour divergence here. If that can cross up, that means the daily can confirm a move up. What would happen with the daily here? Well, the daily is going to reject in negative territory, maybe see that big move, right? Maybe we get up into this zone. So that's what it's overall saying for me. 2-hour turns up here. Good probability to head up towards something like 430, maybe right in here. Oh yeah, TMF. That's what we're supposed to look at. TMF, looking at this guy, we just noticed big upside here. Big upside here. So what do we want to look for? Well, that got excited, a little bit excited. So that's kind of a problem. Daily scale, if that rotates up, good things can happen, but ooh, it's a little too excited for me, in my opinion. I'd really like to see that back off. So 30-minute pullback can go a long way. 30-minute pulls back, curls back up, great things, good things can happen. For now, I would say a pullback looks pretty necessary. TMF, TNX down while TMF down. Yeah, wait. They're starting to rotate, aren't they? Oh wait, they inverted back. They uninverted and then inverted back. Wow. A lot of calls coming in too, by the way, with the PCC. The dollar is scaling up while that happens as well. So I think we might be seeing some rigged behavior for another drop, unfortunately. VIX, what are you telling us? But VIX is really dropping down, so maybe we see an extended upside, and we'll see if that difference with the dollar and the market comes in and the PCC. Solid. Tesla did it. It ended up getting there. About 230, almost right to 234. DJT is in my buy zone. Is it a buy yet? Not until that daily scale can turn up. I also... Lots of gambling today, yeah. On the MACD, do you need those to cross? So I'll try to use this as an example here. We're seeing a very crappy divergence, but you do have it. All right, very crappy divergence, very small. But that's okay. Sometimes those are what you pay attention to, and you do have it extended across. So maybe you could have an argument for this right here on the 30-minute. So what you're more paying attention to is, when do I get a confirmed green bar on this histogram to confirm that, right? That'll tell me most likely to take, at least if I'm nervous about it, a smaller position for the best price. Then after that does happen, I can see if other things are forming. Is the 2-hour crossing up? Okay, that can convince me to add a little bit more. And then as it goes up, is the daily scaling back up, right? So the confirmation of divergence, though, which was your overall question, is when you actually see these lines cross. Hey, nice job, Jackson. Congratulations on your little dub there. We like to hear it. Yeah, so when this actually crosses, how you can read into that, when you know that crossed, is when you see a little bit of green. You see this tiny bit of green? That means it's crossed. Tiny bit of green, that means it's crossed. Celsius? Ooh, not good for Celsius. Not good for Celsius. Curling over on the daily scale, reaching lower prices. Now that could be a divergence point. You're not seeing it on the shorter time frames from what I'm clicking when I'm clicking through. I didn't necessarily see it, but if that can rotate back, that'd be good. But I'm just telling you right now, this just crossed over. That can easily just keep going. So right now, this is negativity, 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 unless that can turn back up, right? Get across that center line. Doesn't look good. What do I think about GameStop? I think it could pretty much pop off at any time. I would really like to see at least an hourly curl up, right? This is one thing that's, it's pretty much the shortest time frame still in a positive trend, the hourly chart. So I'd like to see that, because notice that you're pretty close to doing something crazy. If you did curl up right here, you would get maybe a little bit closer, test the high, go make a little new one. So that would be the opportunity where, oh, what if that did break through? That'd be awesome. Now you could see if that pops up and then rolls back down. That's when you would say not happening. Are you talking to Diana? I was like, are you wanting me to look at DI? Ford, see this type of look here. Actually, weirdly enough, doesn't that looks kind of like Nvidia. That's funny. Interesting. For this, still a 2-hour pullback, or 2-hour cross is what I'm looking for here. This is still consolidation. This is controlled. Even with this drop off here, it's still controlled, right? So that would tell me if this 2-hour crosses up, positivity. All right, now watch out above you. We're seeing some funky stuff from the dollar, from yields and everything like that, uninverting, inverting, uninverting, inverting. So if this 2-hour curls up, simple, swing trade to the upside, all right? How high could that go? Well, watch out, because this level here could prove to be your first little point of resistance, something between this $11.80 to $12, okay? And watch out if there's divergence there. Because if there's divergence there and that confirms, then you do have a chance that you're going to see some weakness on the daily scale. What's the problem with seeing weakness on the daily scale in the next couple of days? Well, if that would pop up like this and then go like that, where are you? Really close to that center line. So you can see that negativity continue. So 2-hour crosses up, good. Daily crosses down, bad. I think Nvidia has a shot. The only problem is we're seeing the dollar kind of go up right now as the market tries to go up. So people are a little bit selling into the move, nothing too crazy. But for the most part, with something like Nvidia, I gotta see some bigger signals start to confirm, right? A 2-hour confirm up to see an extended move. I think that it has the possibility to get to 125 again, or at least our sell zone, right? Test a breakdown area again, maybe. Which, as I pull across, actually, I like this level within the zone. Actually, I really like this level. Maybe this one. Oh, I should make a zone within a zone. I'm gonna go with this, 121.50. 121.50 looks pretty good. If we get this 2-hour to confirm up, we could maybe see a push to there, and then we'll see what happens. But you're getting the signals. It's pretty much like the hourly has to remain cross, the 2-hour has to cross in order to see that. So we're still waiting to react. I'm starting to invest, and I bought 10 shares of 110 of Nvidia. What would you recommend? Well, for the most part with investments, the first thing you need to acknowledge is how long you're willing to hold an investment. Because if you're asking the question like, is this going to go to 130? It's like, it could go to 130, but is that going to take 5 years? Is that going to take 20 minutes? Is that going to take 2 weeks? Right? So we need to know. That's why it's difficult to answer like, hey, should I do this? Because no one knows. If you ask a random person, they're not going to know your situation. They're not going to know your money. They're not going to know how much you want to hold, blah, blah, blah. So more so what you want to be looking at for investments, I like to look at monthly charts, all right? And keep it very freaking simple. When Nvidia made a monthly cross up after seeing positivity, which is great, pay attention to ones that have seen positivity in the past, are curling down on the monthly scale, and then curl back up, because this is when you invest. This is the opposite time of investing. And when I talk about investing, I'd say a hold for 12 to 24 months. Okay, Pablo? So if this would cross down, then that investment would just be gone. You can go from $100 all the way down to $35. All right? So I want to pay attention to if this goes like this and then curls back up. If this goes like this and then curls back up, that's where I would more get into it. But I can't tell you exactly what to do because I don't know exactly how you're trying to invest. But I would be finding little things like this. We talk about it in the swing trading course. Yeah, see, that's the kind of scary part. It's like, look at this. Holy crap. Well, this small thing here, everyone freaked out about, right? Everyone freaked out about it. When you look at it on a monthly chart, you're just like, that just looks like a pullback. But everyone freaked out here. And then we ended up going higher. That's when you invest. Everyone's freaking out during a monthly pullback, and then you just go, okay, good, we're going to see upside for another year. That's more how I treat investing. So am I invested in anything right now? No, the only thing I'm really invested in, I guess, is TLT. TLT, I still own this because it curled up. It went down to my price point. I said I'm buying at 82.50. I bought that. Awesome. Then it curled up on the monthly chart. I had to manage the trade for a second here. Still was able to take profit. Then it curled back up on a daily scale. And I said, all right, I think I'm holding this thing for the long run until we see those rates cut. Great trade. I buy stocks on red days. You're a classic buy the dippers. Ooh, dipper, buy the dipper. Ooh, really fading here. Dollar trying to scale up, not really doing it. Now, if this dollar does cross up on a 2-hour, we got to pay attention to it. West down, 9. I'm invested in helping out other retail traders like myself. Holy crap, that is a very high put call ratio. Oh, goodness. The only thing we don't have is the dollar higher while the market is higher. So we're not seeing a rigged behavior here. Seeing the dollar lower while the market is higher in a very high put call. A lot of calls. Wow. We're never coming down. Whoa. So when there's a curl up on the 2-hour chart, it doesn't mean it's going to go up for 2 hours. It can go up or down any time. It means the momentum has shifted up on a 2-hour chart. It has nothing to do with the time, right? You're just using the time as a way to create bars, to create a way to read into momentum, to give yourself data points, right? So the 2-hour crossing up does not mean it has to be positive for 2 hours. It means the highest probable move over the next, I would say, week is going to be upside. But if that would cross right back down, then that means the opposite. So that's where managing the trade comes in. Yeah, don't expect positivity right after something crosses, because you'll get in a lot of bad habits that way. You'll take big plays and think you're right all the time. Everything is a probability. Anything can turn down right after turning up. It can turn right back down. Right, look at the SPY on this 15-minute. The SPY on the 15-minute just confirmed divergence, but it's looking like what? It's starting to fade a little on this move. So what could that do today? Well, what if that turned down again? That would mean negativity. Then if that turned down and went like this and then curled back up, you'd say, okay, there's the trade setup. What accent was she using, Sid? I can only understand her in certain accents. Yeah, I think you're right to think that, Pablo. I think that this is a signal to pay attention to. This could be a double bottom that projects you up towards something, I would say right now, 116 to all the way up to 125, anywhere in this area. Now I have a zone marked off where I believe the selling really is, the resistance really is. But for the most part, anywhere between 116 and 125. Check the futures on gold. Ooh, gold. Solid break to the upside. On the 2-hour here, I'd look for if that's going to rotate down. I don't think that would be the best thing. But as you're going up into this area, that's not a bad thing. If you can just stay in this area, really build up, that would be nice. Is the daily turning up for the futures? Not just yet. What a 4-hour probably did. Yeah, 4-hour rotating up. So 2-hour, 4-hour cross down. 2-hour says pullback. If the 4-hour crosses down, it could mean this was all a fake out. That's going to head lower. Which you're seeing the dollar. Like, here's the thing. The dollar is as well showing kind of the opposite side of this, right? Showing this dip down. If that turns back up, you might see some pretty bad things for gold. So it's hard to say with that futures one. I'm going to look at the gold chart to see if it just looks a little bit different. Can give us some kind of hint. 2 hours curling up. So as far as gold in the regular trading hours, it's saying, hey, the 2 hours curling up into positive territory. So what does that tell me? I'd really watch out today. I genuinely would, because we get data tomorrow. Can this be a good move? Yes. But can it just fail and then we see another point of divergence really close to the center line? That's what I'm kind of worried about here. I might even scale a little bit into a short position for the long term. Happy trading, Dominique. Dominique. Ooh, I put some fashion on the end of your name there. Dominique. Dom-unique. Oh yeah, opening football day. I'm supposed to go watch the Chefs. What's up with Tesla? That thing confirmed upside and never turned back down. That's what happened. And we said 234 in the long run. It didn't happen exactly how I thought it would, but it's happening. And you actually do have a point of divergence now between that 2-hour chart. So I'd be watching out in case you turn down. But as of right now, everything looks positive. Right? I know I say the negative thing and it can make you think negative, but this is a very positive move. Consolidation would make some sense here, though. I just got into a put for the long term. QQQ is a bull trap. We'll see if the dollar, the dollar reacting is kind of telling me like this could be a bigger bull trap. But we'll see if it extends. It could extend for a long time. That's the thing. Oof. You have to break through that level. That's a key thing for Nvidia. Dollar's starting to shift back to positive. So now, go look at gold. Gold's going to start maybe shifting down here as the dollar goes positive. I was in love. All right, confirming that. That means the 2 hour has a good opportunity to rotate up. Oof. Volatility still just dropping off, though. Interesting. The call side is just nuts. Dow, what are you saying? Not confirming up. I don't want to project out that far just because I like to react more so than try to guess what's going to happen. But I think you do have an opportunity here if you can pull back. That's the thing. I don't want Tesla to get overexcited and then just fall. I would really like it to remain in this area or even dip down a little bit, maybe retest this level, get down into this, and then make some good structure. That's what I would really like to see. Will you join me? Yeah, so if you're looking for a bull trap, a lot of the time you'll see a low PCC, low PCC. That means there's a ton of calls, right? A trap makes sense. You need people to be trapped, so a lot of calls make sense. Then, after that, you want to see the dollar rising as the stock market rises. Are we really seeing that? Well, the market's risen pretty good here, but the dollar overnight last night actually dropped off and then started to rise. That could mean that as this rises, if we see it continue, then you could see a rug pull pretty much at any point. But the crazy thing for me is you're not seeing volatility give really any reversal signals here. You're really not. So that tells me maybe we're going to see a prolonged trap where it takes a couple of days, or maybe one more day, or maybe by tomorrow morning, right? Maybe by end of day today, who knows? But it could be elongated for a little bit. Where the hell is Joe? Someone message him now. We need Joe. We need Joe. Chant it in the chat. We need Joe. All right, Nvidia's starting to make another little upward move. We'll see what happens with this. Can we view the PCC on Webull? I'm sure you can. Try to type PCC as a ticker. I'm sure you can see it. I think Webull also gives data tickers as well, but I'm not totally familiar with Webull. I used it literally for a week. I hated it, and I got off it. I'm not going to lie. That was like a couple years ago. I was like, let me look at it. And I was like, no, not doing this. Just my personal preference. I hope you enjoy it. Oh no, I think people just enjoy Just Joe's updates. The way he says stuff is kind of funny. If I'm being honest, I don't read it every time because a lot of the time it's very long. Dow Jones started to turn back up. If this will load. Where are my dippies? 235. See, I don't like that it's getting overexcited. I like it for what it's worth. I think it's fun. Like, I'll read it most of the time. I can't see it on Webull. Well, just do yourself a favor, TradingView. You can use the free one and just have maybe a list of things that you want to pay attention to. You can look at it for free, right? And then PCC is great because you don't really need indicators. You don't need indicators for PCC. You just need to have these levels pretty much. I like to mark off 0.8, 0.95, and 1. And when we're below the red line, that means I need to look out for trap behavior for a bull trap. If we're above this red line, or even above 0.95 sometimes, so this is where you want to focus. But if you're above that line, then you want to pay attention to traps in the other direction. Remember, yesterday we were saying, hey, there could be a trap to the downside happening. What's happening as of right now? Well, positivity. So we're seeing that positivity come in. The dollar was dropping off yesterday while the market was dropping off, if you recall. So I might update the course. I'm going to update the technical indicators course. So the indicators course for $100 still down in the description. Yes, I kept it on sale. I didn't want to mention it a bunch, but I'm like, I have way too much stuff going on, especially with the thing that happened to my mother-in-law. So I was just like, I don't care. I'm not going to stress myself out. I'm not going to talk about it a bunch, but it's secretly still on sale if you want to get it in the chat. for these live videos. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to beat a dead horse. I'd really like to teach you guys some of this stuff in real time, but I'm going to add the dollar behavior, how to find rigged moves, and what things to be paying attention to that course over the weekend. I kind of thought about it last week, and then this week I think I'm seeing it, and I'm like, yeah, we probably need to get that out there. What happened to Mom? Well, Steve, she was followed home by a man who said he knew her, and then he trapped her in the driveway, and she locked herself in her car, and he was right outside her window for like I think it was like 10 to 15 minutes. And he was like, oh no, I have the wrong person, but he continued to stand there. So we just had to get a police report and all that stuff. He finally left. Anyone in Microsoft calls? I like the Microsoft look, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I had to end the stream early yesterday. I like the Microsoft look. Look at that 2-hour divergence. I love it. I do. Yeah, that happened yesterday. That's why you all, like, if you heard yesterday around this time yesterday, I randomly just came on the mic and I go, I'm sorry guys. I know we're doing the course stuff and all that kind of stuff, but I gotta go. Yeah, man. The only thing is she has a bad history with guns. We can talk about that sometime, maybe after close later today or something, but not everyone has the best experiences with guns in their life, but I'm trying to teach her the real way you're supposed to treat firearms, because she grew up with it not that way. Microsoft, I really like the signal here. You can get a rejection of the daily crossing. We can end up going to the upside here. I kind of like it. I like this look. I just wonder if we're going to have enough time to see that positivity. Yeah, you got to go slow with people like that who have bad experiences with firearms. You got to overall be like, okay, let's take it one step at a time. Why don't you learn about the gun? Why don't you learn a little bit about a Glock, you know? Why is there no safety? What's in the gun? How does the gun work? That whole thing. How to grip it. How to remain safe with it. Never have the finger on the trigger unless you're downrange. That kind of stuff. For Carvana, I'm going to tell you this. Just looking at this 2 hours. Who asked about this? Pablo did. Pablo, look at this 2 hour. This is probably going to be a 30-minute divergence that can turn up a 2 hour. Let's see if I'm right. Oh, 30-minute divergence that can turn up a 2 hour. Look at that. See, when you get real good at it, you can see it even on a 2 hour chart before it happens. So what this tells me is this is bad right now. Okay, I want to be very clear of how to treat these type of signals. You're saying there could be a reversal here, right? This curls down, that is bad. But if it does that, that's immediately great. That is a great probability to see some positive price action. That's a great probability to turn up a 2 hour chart. So what does that mean that I do with these indicators, which we talk about in the course over and over and over again? Fuck it, I might as well say it. $150 to get both courses down in the description. I'm leaving it for a couple days because I don't want to deal with it. I got too much going on. You guys are going to be the only ones that know about that. I'm not going to be mentioning it a lot in the videos. So in the YouTube videos. This right here means if this gives me a green bar, then this has a very high probability to turn up a 2 hour chart, and I can maybe get in early. This is momentum telling me, hey, you could get in early here. There's a good probability to see an upward trend. So what do I want to do? Maybe I take one position here, and then I look at the 2 hour, and if that crosses, I add a little bit more to that position. Then it extends up. I take my profit, and I'm happy to go with that breakdown area. Done. Or since we're heading into a Friday, I can see these things confirm up, create a weekly range next week. Let's say this does that. Create a weekly range next week, and if it gets to that weekly range, I can sell that position. These are all things that we talk about in the course. That's why I really like it. That's how you use the weekly ranges. That's one thing I really like. If there are more calls, will the PCC bar be red on the daily? No, not every time. That's why a lot of the time you don't want to look at bars. You want to click this guy here and actually go with a line chart. Okay, you don't necessarily care what the bar looks like. You care what the reading is at the moment. My internet crapped out for a second. My bad. This is why I don't do video anymore on here, because it keeps crap. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's just been the last month or so. When I first had it, it was great. So yeah, you more want to do this. This is just a tip for everyone out there with PCC. We'll talk about it in the video that I'm adding to that course, the technical indicators course. It's not going to be in the swing trading course, but more so look at a line chart. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I don't do it a lot because I can see it with my eyes. I just automatically pay attention to what the reading is, but it's good to pay attention to what the reading is at that moment, okay? Line chart's going to be good for things like PCC, for things like unemployment rate, for all kinds of things that are just more of a reading, right? More of a reading that I need to know what that is right now. That's what you want to pay attention to. The one that it's a little bit different is volatility. Volatility is one I like to see bars because that can show you divergences. That can flow more. This is just a simple reading. Yeah, and this is what we're going to put mainly onto the course. We're going to try to go more in depth, obviously, so you understand this to a T. So we're going to put it out in the course, black and white. This is how you see rigged behavior, and this is when you have a high probability of a rigged move happening. All right? We'll go over that. Are we seeing that right now? Well, the dollar is starting to scale up. So if we see this continue, we need to be aware. We need to be aware. We are seeing a lot of stuff go extremely positive, Tesla. We're seeing a lot of stuff go extremely positive. And I think a lot of people would ignore the fact that we have if the dollar starts to go higher, we have an extremely high PCC. What does that mean? The best way for the market maker to make money? Shoot stocks down. If everyone has calls and they want to steal everyone's money, they shoot stocks down, and they have enough order flow to do so. If they have the liquidity to do so, they can do it. So if enough people buy calls, they now have the liquidity, they send stocks lower. I feel bad about it, but that's how this market works, and that sucks balls. I'm just going to be blatant about it. That sucks. That sucks tiny peanuts like that one guy has. Roasted. Just know, if you come into my chat and you be rude, you get what you give, all right? I will fire back. No, God, no, he's not here. There's no way. If he is, I hope he is. I think it's perfectly fine. It's just, you know, the internet encourages people to automatically say whatever's in their tummy, not in their brain, in their tummy, because they're going off emotion. So just sometimes you got to be like, hey, someone else asked a question. Someone asked how my mother-in-law was doing, so I think it's perfectly fine for me to talk about it. Apple was a strong buy yesterday. Let's go with Apple. The weird thing about Apple, though, the thing that I didn't like here, was the fact that there's no reversal signal. There's no reversal signal. If anything, you maybe have a 5-minute signal right here. Okay? 5 minute. Is that enough for me to take a trade? And it's just a rejection too. It's not even a great signal. So is that a great trade? Not necessarily. Now, once that goes positive and dips down, if you're a day trader, you like little 5-minute charts or something, hey, boom, there you go. Positivity continues. 225 was the reaction we overall were looking for. I just thought we would make some kind of basing out signal first, meaning we'd like cross on a 15-minute cross back down, then see that reaction a little bit later. So the fact that this is just reacting is very interesting because now you're hitting that breakdown area, right? Anywhere in this area, you can really see those sellers step in. If you break through that, that's a big deal. If you can break through, use it as support, that would be different. I do. I really want people to be successful. Like, here's the thing, too. Like, people think, like, I was just good at, like, some people think, like, I was just great at trading immediately. No, I tell people all the time, I've lost tons of money in the market when I was young, when I was a fundamental trader. I lost money when I first started doing technical analysis, but I always figured out what I was doing wrong. I was very accountable, and I always added something to my strategy when I thought it was giving me more of an edge, and that's all you're looking for with trading. Give yourself an edge, know how to manage trades. That's what we're trying to do, and those are the tools we're giving in those courses down in the description. That's the best part. I want retail to win. I'm kind of sick of it. The AMC and GME thing and the Nvidia thing, that's all made me sick. I want us to win. All of us. And I don't want you to have to pay $2,000 to have to do it. See what happened to your mother-in-law? Yeah, you can rewind to see it. I'm sure plenty of will ask, but she pretty much got trapped by a large Spanish man. She was worried. Her brain went to, she's like, I hope he wasn't Venezuelan. I was like, okay. Because I guess she's seen a bunch of stuff, like that's what really freaked her out. I don't think he was. I think he might have been slightly intoxicated and might have had the wrong person, but who follows even someone they know home at 5:30 in the morning? Just getting ready for my dry firing practice after the stream. Clear. That's right, I dry fire after the stream normally. And I try to read your comments in case someone really needs some info, but it's my dry firing time. It's my 15 minutes of chill before I have to go do a million things. That's my first one. 9 mil. Wouldn't a low dollar be good for commodities? It could be, but the dollar's starting to scale up. Okay, this is gonna convince me to probably change some stuff around. Like you, but you're going a little wild. What's wild about saying what she thought? There's nothing wild about that. I'm just saying what she said. She saw some stuff on the news. It freaked her out. FNGR, yeah, we looked at that. But I'm okay with that. Sorry if I freaked you out. I'm not trying to freak you out. Trust me. I don't want to freak anyone out. Just saying what happened. That's it. FNGR, you probably have a little 15-minute here too. No, oh my god, just if you're scared of that, then you don't understand me at all. It's like I'm not cocking it to say anything. I'm cocking it because I dry fire after I stream. Softies out there today, my goodness. Coincidence. All right, 15-minute curls up. Some good stuff can happen. All right, that's what we want to save right here. I'm sorry, Patton. I'm not trying to freak anyone out. It was a matter of coincidence. I can tell you that right now. It just happened to happen. I wasn't trying to make some big statement with that at all. I was checking to make sure it was clear. That's it. I was being safe. That's all I was doing. I promise. I haven't got into that game yet, Beef. As far as this goes for FNGR, real quick, 15-minute, you do have it down here at the low. You do have a 15-minute here at the low, so if that 15-minute turns up, what does that tell me? It tells me like an hourly can turn up pretty much. So an hourly can reject here, and that might lead to some kind of move to the upside, right? That's what we want to overall be paying attention to. Hourly, that would be good, but I think a bigger confirmation you want to look for is a 2-hour turning up because it's still pretty close to that center line. So if you see positivity really come in, you're going to see that 2-hour most likely cross and then see like 230, 228, and then see if that can continue, test the high, maybe go make a new one because it is still close enough to going positive. I think both of mine have a, what's it called? 2-stage trigger. CRM. Is a lot of this just 15-minute divergences? Yeah, this is another one. I don't like this is why I don't like 15 minutes. It's so thin here, but it is there. All right. Is it the best on this one? Not as good, I would say. But if that does curl up and goes into a 15-minute positive trend, then you can see that positive trend. That's more how I'd be looking at it. Yeah, you guys, it's dead. Just dead it, guys. Water under the bridge, right, Gar? Or should I call you Patton? I don't know which one to call you, but either way, we're all here for the same thing. We like stocks, right? It just something funky happened. It was a coincidence, I promise. I'm never trying to trigger anyone or anything. If I'm ever trying to be funny or be badass, I'll sound much different than that, and it's hard for me to sound badass because I have a nasally gay voice. It's very difficult for me to sound badass. But yeah, I appreciate everyone being in here, no matter how you're gonna vote, no matter how you trade, whatever. As long as we're all dedicated to the same thing, I'm happy. As of right now, I don't think this is the best signal in the world, but it doesn't mean I can't pay attention to this crossing up. Right? If this crosses up and goes into a positive trend, I probably want to pay attention to it. I probably want to see if hourlies are going to reject up. But I think the ultimate signal for a lot of these is 2 hour. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Gar. You're right about that. 2 hour crosses up, you can see positivity. But I want you to notice the difference between this and the one we just looked at for CRM, right? We want to see this 2 hour curls up, but that other 2 hour was here. Okay, that other 2 hour was here. This one's a little deeper, so this has more of an opportunity to test a breakdown area and then start to reject. I just want to be clear about that. Yeah, I'm glad everyone's making up in there, and yeah. Gar, you got any good plays going on right now? Let's do that. You got any good plays? Any stock that you're really looking at? I'd love to look at something for you. Google showing the same look. Let's go look at Google too, because if it's showing that same look, well, Microsoft's same look was the 2 hour divergence within the price action. I don't think you're exactly seeing that on Google. I don't think you're exactly seeing it. Just traded Tesla to the upside, because if so, holy crap. Now it is hitting that 234. Yeah, Google doesn't look exactly the same as Microsoft, but I can see how a curl up would be nice. So the only thing for Tesla now is I want to see how this bar performs over the next 45 minutes, because this could be a big deal. Weirdly enough, this could be a big deal because look at that downward move on this MACD. So if it starts to experience weakness in this bar, pull this down, pull this RSI down, then you would have a divergence point that if that did cross over, that might not be a good thing. All right, you still, weirdly enough, I might draw some stuff here. I don't like it the best, but I don't know if that's kind of an overall extended. It still could be there. I'm going to leave it there. So now something we can look for if this is going to be some kind of bigger flagging or something like that, right? If we are going to experience bad things, is what if we react down to here, get some kind of blip up? You almost have like a slanted little, like, I would say slanted. I don't even like saying head and shoulders there. It just more looks like if you would do this and cross down, get some kind of 30-minute bounce and then drop down again, that probably wouldn't be a good sign. But also something like this could happen. So I don't really want to talk about that because it could happen in a lot of ways. I'd more so just say pay attention if that 2 hour just rotates back down quickly, because you are seeing some trap behavior. Look at that dollar. Look at the PCC, still low. And the dollar is scaling a little bit, right? Scaling a little bit. What's the best indicator for day trading PCC? I don't even, wait, can you? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Can you day trade PCC? Yeah, I've never traded PCC. Oh yeah, someone did ask about LPSN. Let's go look at that. Again, it's like you're seeing these 2 hour curl-ups that could take place. See, this one shows pretty steep here on the 30-minute. I kind of like that a little bit. but the price action not looking the best. I'd still be looking for 2-hour curl ups. The thing about this 2-hour, it's very, very deep. So where did you really start to break down? It was right here, I think. And we even got almost a retest of that. So I'd say if you get a reaction, look for this. If it's going to remain and go positive and go up for a long time, you're probably going to see this. Okay? Now, if that's going to just be negative, then that might react up to there, but it won't be able to create that. It might just curl up, curl down, and go down even lower, right? Create some kind of divergence, or just drop down even lower. Yeah, I am the son of Omega will be undone. This is a daily. Daily crossed over on this. I don't like the look of that. Daily momentum shifting down, never a good thing. Not seeing reversal on a 2-hour. Look on the 30-minute. Not the best reversal signal here on the 30-minute. You just have a MACD divergence. So that tells me this could reverse for a second, but it might just be some kind of like dead cat bounce. DIA, that is one that I was looking at. I actually shorted this at the high, sold down at these lows, and then I was looking if that was going to pop back up for another position later on up in these areas. Not seeing that as of yet. Is that a double bottom on the daily chart for AMC? But yeah, I can see how this is telling you, hey, I'm trying to roll over. As of right now, 2-hour just pointing straight down. Not a good sign. Probably making another little 15-minute divergence, though. So pay attention if 15-minute divergence, a triple one happens. That's when 15-minute can be a little more important to me. But for the most part, that 15-minute crosses, look what's happening. It's losing a pretty good support. So if that starts to lose something like 406.50, you could come to this gap fill. You could end up going down for a long time. Double bottom AMC. Let's go check on that real quick. We got to keep our eye on these AMC and GME things. I don't know about on the daily scale. I'm still just being patient, waiting for that daily to cross. I don't want to read into it too much. I don't know that you have a double bottom on the RSI either. Damn, we are just... Internet just keeps crapping out. Might have to do some searching on why my internet... I might have to reset it during a break. I'm sorry if the feed keeps cutting out. As of right now, you've confirmed. So you would say this. You want a 2-hour to curl up with that. That 2 hours trying to curl up. If that happens, good stuff. And then you could just say if the 30-minute curls down, it might not be the moment. Right? 30-minute curls down, bad things. 2-hour curls up, you should see good things. But if that 30-minute curls down, you might need to manage a trade before you see that big move. It might be the RAM. You're right. Well, actually, my RAM's pretty good. Dude, I think, yeah, I have like 32 gig. Like, this thing should be fine. I'm just not Ethernet in. I'm not hard plugged in. I need to really do it because this is a new computer. When I did move, I set up a new system here, and it's just for the stream. And it was performing fantastic, and now it's not. So maybe I just have memory problems in some way. I'll look into it. It's fine. It's fine. We'll look into it. Multiple point divergence here for AMC, not necessarily triple, just multiple point actually. Yeah. I just like it to curl up on a daily scale and I can be happy. Okay, volatility is starting. Ooh, that did not break down far enough. Now you have like almost a consolidative look and you have the dollar trying to pop up, PCC still remaining low. Not the best look in the world. Whoa. 2-hour did not confirm up yet either. Burlington? I don't think I've ever been in a Burlington. 2-hour curl up would be great. This is going to be another one that has a 15-minute divergence. There's your big 15-minute divergence across. Since it's pretty big, let's see if it pops up on a 30. I trust the 30 more. It did. So crosses up here. Look for that 2-hour to cross, and then you can feel pretty good about it. That's what I see here. 30-minute divergence, 2-hour can curl up. Obviously, if the 30-minute curls down, where are you? Negative territory. Not good, right? But 2-hour crosses up, I'd say good sign. Firm. 30-minute trying to curl up, failing immediately. I don't like that. I really don't like that. Usually if this is curling up, I want to see that positivity for a little bit, but I've put some Burlington. I know, feel good. Checked it out. Please double down on the bottom. Bottom on what, Mark? But 2-hour just crossed. Maybe you just need a little bit bigger time frame to curl up, right? I don't take 30-minute swings. Because normally what you'd see, this is why this one's a little tough, because normally you would see this pull down, curl back up here, and then you'd see that divergence, and that would give you your bigger pullback. But as of right now, you're just experiencing a 2-hour pullback in the moment. So as of right now, 2-hour pulling back. Oh, didn't draw. 2-hour pulling back. We'll see when that's able to really base out and curl up. I'd still say 2-hour pullback is most likely. Now that could still look something like this and then see that curl up. Hey, that's awesome, Robert. Tell them I say hey. Have a great day, Robert. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. Your 2-hour did curl up for Nvidia. You might have futures, the extended hours on. Yeah, sometimes that happens, Wellington. Right here. I like regular trading hours, personally. Sometimes I'll click on them, but maybe earnings and things like that. Costco? Oh, that's Cisco. What am I doing? Oh, 30-minute crossing down. Okay, so the 30-minute is crossing down. We got to watch out for divergences as we're testing a key level, right? So we'll see if that can really come down to these levels. As of right now, you would be making that divergence even if you would turn around on the next bar. So watch out if this just turns right back up. But right now, what do we want to say? This is very bad, right? That's very, very bad. If it turns around, that would be a good sign. And then you can see maybe a 2-hour push higher, right? 2-hour, maybe we push higher for a lower high, or even go test the high, go make a new one. I think that's still possible. As of right now, on the daily scale, that is crossing down. So you really want to see positivity today. This means bad things overall for Costco for a longer period of time. That's what that means to me. On the Dow, okay. Oh yeah, what do we have, a 15-minute signal? Uh-oh. See, if that curled down, I wouldn't be happy, but if that rejects there, I kind of like it. You know what I'm saying, Mark? If that rejects there and sees positivity, I'd like that if it sees that positivity until end of day. Dollar stopped scaling up so far. That's good. It's weird we beat the high and then we turn back down. Apple's starting to turn back down on its 15-minute. Yeah, that was the weird thing about Tesla. If you remember, you're looking at the weekly. If you see any inverted head and shoulders, whatever you want to see here, right? This may be level here, left head, right shoulder, okay. The crazy thing with Nvidia is the monthly signal. The monthly signal is what's kind of crazy here, because that's turning up. So if that remains turned up, someone asking about investing this morning, if Tesla remains curled up, technically it is telling you, hey, I should see upside for the next, say, 12 to 24 months. I do not max effort, unfortunately. I haven't before. Maybe I'll look into it. Sold nail Tuesday, opened at 150, made 1K on the gains, but I bought it back at 145 and I'm holding the bag. Yeah, we can look at things like, still, let's go look at HGX then for you. Let's look at this. Remember, no, this is on a monthly scale. Remember that we're looking for that handle, and it looks like you might be at that handle level right now. So actually, if that 2 hour curls up here for something like the housing sector, that can be the handle overall. Now, do we see any 30-minute signals in here that give us a strong base? Not necessarily just yet. So could you go a little bit deeper? Yeah, you could. You could go make a reversal signal. We could still build up for a while, make that reversal signal. And that would be a good sign for nail. So as we go back over to nail, you're going to see a similar setup where if that 2 hour crosses up, positivity can be there. Well, they're going to pull back with green bars eventually. You will see green, you will see red in the price action while you still see green bars, but that's just, think of it more as the momentum signal. The momentum is still light green. The momentum is still light green, right? So as we go into something like a 30-minute, you're going to see times where you have red, but you still see green. All right, you still see green on your MACD while seeing red on your price action. Right, that happens all the time. But for the most part, you would say, look at this. Oh, it's green, it's still green, and it's going up over time. All right, even though it was light green. So from this area, we expect a pullback. So what I'd be looking at now is a 30-minute pullback first. First thing I look for, 30-minute pullback to make this. That's what I'd be looking for. Qs are really trying to give it up a little bit. I want to look for Nvidia. See if that 15-minute is violated. Maybe this needs to go grab another set of buyers. It's all right, Doug. We won't tattle on you. Inventory, baby. Inventory, baby. What if they just make the info come in even tomorrow? Remember, tomorrow's the big day. Non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. We already saw the initial jobless claims came in exactly as it was forecasted. So what if tomorrow's data comes in exactly as forecasted? Let's see. Non-farm payrolls would actually be going up to 120K from 114, and unemployment would be staying the same. So would that cause some positivity? It might. We'll see. We gotta wait for the reaction. That's why we say it's a rock in our stream. We need to figure out which way that stream is going and then go in that direction. Divergence on the monthly chart for Tesla. I don't know if I saw that. Maybe I need to look a little bit closer. I wasn't really paying attention for it. So it's not necessarily divergence. If anything, you could say it is hidden divergence on the MACD, right? Because this is going up, but your MACD is going down. That's hidden divergence. We don't go over that too much because those plays can be a little more difficult to see. So what we overall would say, though, that could be hidden divergence. It's more so just, is that monthly curling up, though? It does always give up the games. It's actively fought against. Oh, I'm selling monthly, so I'm like, why does this look so big? All right, this had the 15-minute signal, so that 15-minute most likely did roll down there, right? Oh, it's way down here. Okay. All right, that hasn't rolled down yet. That could just be a test of the bottom to go grab some liquidity. Hit a put wall? Little tiny structure here. Left, We'll see. But if this curls down, it means bad things until that turns back up. Right now it's turned up, so it's still saying, hey, this could still be a momentum bouncing. He's saying that September and November could be bad. It doesn't mean we can't experience a bounce. But as of right now, we're seeing that turn down again. So we have to pay attention if things are rolling back down. Now you're seeing triple divergence on the Dow. So DIA. See if that can turn back up. That's all right. Oh, this SPX put wall. Okay. With my, and I never let you go, and I never died. And I know it's meant it. Dollar, we'll see if that can rotate back down. Didn't curl up on that 2 hour just yet. The way that the SPY would reject up, the way you know that that's going to get some kind of rejection to head to the upside is if we continue to head up. I would actually be looking a little bit at the Dow. If the Dow starts to get this reaction and curl back up, I'd be looking at the SPY and expecting it to follow. That's what I'd be more so looking into. Boom. I think I'm just gonna have a hard take here. We have a 68% chance to land back in this zone by tomorrow. There's options expiring. This is something unexpected. So something like this would be very, very tricky to really send stocks lower and then just end it back in this. Ooh. I think they might fudge with some data, which tells us the data was not the moment. There's going to be something else most likely going on, or it's just some kind of big trap. So we'll pay attention to trap behavior tomorrow for sure. I will be back on the live show tomorrow. I do have to hop off pretty much right now, unfortunately. So I tried not to take any bathroom breaks. I tried to give you guys as much time as possible today. I will be back on later today. There's nothing crazy going on. No one's following my mother-in-law today, so nothing crazy going on today. I'm going to be back here at an hour before the close. Make sure you're subscribed with those notifications on. And thank you guys so much for being subscribed. And thank you for joining today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to watch the price action throughout the day, and then we can ask more questions later today, okay? So later today, we can talk about some price action that's happening, see if the Dow is turning up on that 15-minute, and that could be a good sign for things to actually head up. And then we have to pay attention to the rock in our stream. Data tomorrow. Data tomorrow is going to be very important. We're going to be putting out a YouTube video tonight as well for those daily expected moves. And make sure, if you're trying to learn, the courses are still on sale. I'm just not touching them because I have enough to deal with right now. And then 2, the Patreon down in the description. If you want daily expected moves for stocks tomorrow, if you have an expiration tomorrow and you need daily expected moves for every stock that we cover on this channel, the list of those pretty much is in the YouTube video. SPY, Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, Meta, Microsoft, Google, AMC, GME, and Palantir. All of those will be in Patreon tonight, okay? So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I hope you have a great time trading. I hope you have some great trades out there. Thank you to everyone for being here today, and peace until an hour before the close. Later, homies.